What's up YouTube, it's Midwest Raider, and I wanted to bring you volume 3 on speakers of items you're going to need to become a mobile DJ. This is based and aimed towards the newer DJ, the beginning DJs out there on items and stuff you're going to need to become a mobile DJ. So if anybody else is tuning in and you want to watch, I appreciate it and thank you very much. Let's jump in, and I wanted to jump real quick back to a previous video. In the previous videos, we've talked about all kinds of things: cables, cords, laptops, software, just not super detailed, but just little things that you're gonna need. If anybody else wants me to get into a little more depth of something, let me know, but basically I'm just giving you the quick, super quick versions of just items you're gonna need and kind of price points to put everything together. But I wanted to jump back real quick to cables. We talked about basic cables that you're going to need, and these are the basic cables that you're going to need and you will get. They cost $3 to $5 easily or cheaper. But if you want to upgrade those cables, I also had talked about monster cables you can get at Walmart now. You can get RCA to RCA or RCA to 3.5 millimeter jack, and you can get these for $7 to $10 if you want to upgrade just a little bit. If you want to upgrade a little bit more, these are chroma cables, and they're very tough, durable, good shielding, all that kind of stuff. I'm not 100% if they sound any better, but they're definitely reliable, tough, and will last. Okay guys, so I use these. I also use these because they're color coded. They're all different colors and crazy colors, and it helps me say, hey, this cable is for to go from my receiver or my controller to my mixer, and that purple cable is to go from my controller to my laptop, and the green and white cable goes from my mixer to my amplifier. So it just helps organize you a little bit more with all the color cables, and also if you like, they look cool as well. I also had some OEI cables. Those are very expensive. I'm just testing them out. They're pretty much reliable, and everything I talked about the chroma, they're just a little bit more expensive, so I don't know if it's worth that expense. I had a purple cable on my table as well in the last video, and that was a chroma cable. That was a USB-A to USB-B, and that was for my laptop and my controller as well. So chroma cables, very durable and very good cables. Cost you a little bit more, but in the long run, if you're not buying cables all the time, then it might save you a little money. So now we can jump into the speakers, guys. Later on, I'll cut from this video and I'll show you my display I was just talking about, and I'll also talk about some microphones and headphones, which I kind of missed as well, but we're getting it all caught up and clipped together in this video for you guys. So let's talk real quick about speakers, because speakers is all based on opinion, I believe. A lot of people say, these speakers are the best, that speakers is kind of like laptops and everything else. But basically, I'm not a tech guy, but I'll just explain the two different types of speakers, and there's a few options out there for you guys. Now, based on my past, I honestly could not afford very good equipment back in the day because I just didn't have the money. So I had to slowly build my stuff. And I believe I started off with some passive home theater speakers that were tower speakers, and a home theater amplifier. And that's kind of how I started. I hooked that to a laptop and a mixer, and I kind of performed that way. Very few, like 1 or 2 gigs, I did that just to get started, and then I was able to buy, I believe, some powered speakers that I used for a long time, along with a home theater Eclipse sub that I got at a pawn shop. So that system I used for a couple more gigs, and it worked very well, and I really was able to do some small gigs with that very well. It sounded very good actually, and I got through it that way. So there's tons of options out there, guys, but you got to start where you got to start, and that's just kind of how ghetto I started. I'll admit to that. So, but I would suggest trying to at least get some good PA type speakers, some portable speakers, because they're just built more for that, and they can take the punishment of getting thrown around and that kind of stuff better than some tower speakers. So let's jump into this real quick. So like I said, I'm not a tech guy, but there's two different kinds of speakers. There's passive speakers and there's powered or active speakers. And we'll jump into the passive speakers first. This little guy is a passive speaker. It just has two, like this one has, just like passive speakers, you need amplification, you need amplifier, you need an amplifier like on the bottom of this guy. But it could have, you know, speaker wire posts. It could have the banana type clip posts. It could have quarter jack or speak on posts, but it just has the two posts, and then you have to power the speaker. Your powered speakers have an amplifier in them already, and usually they'll have some extra features, maybe volume controls, maybe you can plug a microphone into them as well. Or some will just have the outputs where you just put XLR or quarter jack cables into them and then daisy chain them to another powered speaker. These always have to be plugged in, so you have to also plug both speakers in because they power themselves. You can get all kinds of sizes, 10s, 8s, 15s, 12s, even big 18s you can get as well. So you can get any kind of size of speakers with those. When you're first starting out, I had to go with cheaper type speakers. But if you can afford to get really expensive speakers, guys, go ahead. If you have the income and you're starting out and you want to get really good stuff, go for that. Get what you need to, do some reviews, watch some reviews, and you get that knowledge. Back then, when I started, I couldn't watch YouTube because they didn't have a lot of information on, you know, cheaper type equipment. It was all about the mainstream stuff. So now you can get a little bit more information on a little bit of everything. But if you can buy really good equipment, go buy real equipment. This LD Maui speaker is great. It'll give you a wide variety of different venues you can do. It sounds great. It's portable. It comes with cases. It doesn't need to be plugged in. It's rechargeable. They make another one that does have to be plugged in, and it costs a little bit less, but easily two of these speakers could cost you up to $1,600. Two of the non-portable ones will still $1,100. So they're expensive, but they do help you cut down space, time, setup time. Like I said, they come with cases, so they protect themselves. So it is definitely an investment that helps, but it takes time to get there, guys. So don't feel bad about buying some cheaper equipment and getting through until you can get up to that point, guys. You got to start off somewhere and, you know, build that equipment and invest in your company that you're trying to build here. So there's no problem starting out with an easy setup like this, which is some 8s. And I started off with some 8s. I bought some powered 8s, and I used them a lot, like I said, with a powered sub. But you can get these Rockville 8s, and I've used these a few times for smaller conference things. You can get these for $40 easily on Amazon deals, and then you can pick up an amplifier. This is not a Rockville amp, but you could pick up a Rockville amp, and it'll cost you $100 to $140, and you could easily power these guys. Then also, like I said, you can use a home theater amp, but they also make, of course, DJ powered subs. Those range from all kinds of prices, but I would always try to have a powered sub when you're doing indoor gigs. If you're doing outdoor gigs, it is important, depending if you're doing like festivals or something, definitely you're gonna need powered subs. But if you're just doing house parties or barbecues and things of that nature, you really don't need a powered sub. A lot of that, you're just playing background music. It depends on the event you're doing. If you're just playing background music and you're just kind of entertaining, people aren't going to be really dancing a lot. You don't need crazy big equipment, in my opinion. You can get away with some 8s and just playing background music, and you know, a smaller subwoofer. And if you're outside, you're really not going to hear that subwoofer that much anyway, so you can just get away with the cabinet speakers. If you're getting, you know, some 10s or some 12s, you can get away with 2 cabinet speakers and playing background music. When you start playing indoors, you in my opinion, you really want a subwoofer, because when people are dancing close to your equipment, close to the dance floor, you want them to be able to feel that club type atmosphere, and you know, it helps them move, creates an atmosphere, and it works very well to have, you know, your 2 speakers and a subwoofer. Plus, that to me just looks like a DJ to have 2 speakers and your subwoofer, you know, your laptop, your controller, a mixer, you know, all that kind of stuff. Just looks good. So that's my opinion, guys. They also make all-inclusive quick systems like the ProRec Club 3000, where it has a plate amp, a powered sub, and then you run it to your 2 arrays that it comes with, your speaker stands it comes with, all your cables, and you can easily pick that up for $450, close to, or you can get one that has 2 subs and the arrays and comes in all that kind of package, and that's about $569. So if you can come up and save a little money and buy something like that, that's going to cover a lot more different gigs and a lot different venues if you can, you know, save up and get something like that. But you could easily, you know, rock all kinds of small gigs with, you know, some good cabinet speakers, some little speakers, and a sub. All kinds of little events that you can get through. And a lot of people say, you know, you could even get away with just one really nice, you know, 15 or 12, and you know, play some small things like that, house parties, barbecues, you know, stuff that you're just playing background music in, guys. That definitely will help you get started, get moving, friends and family, that kind of stuff. So these are just some options. I'm not telling you to go buy any of this stuff or anything like that. I'm just saying these are options for you to get started, cheaper options than going to buy 2 $800 EV speakers, and you know, or LDs, or you know, Mackies, PVs. Which I'm saying all that stuff is good, but right now I'm just saying that we have to start out a little cheaper when you get started, because we just can't afford it, guys. Some guys can't afford it, so you have to start smaller, using some of this other equipment. The three good companies right now that I believe in my I've had pretty good luck with is Rockville, ProRec, Soundtown. There's a new company called Blackmore that I'd like to get my hands on some stuff, but that's pretty decent equipment at decent prices. I've used some ProPile stuff in the past, but I can't give 100% on all that equipment, but I have used some of their stuff. Some of it worked, but that's just some options out there, and just some different setups. But there's all kinds of speakers, all kind of price points, and I hope this helps a little bit, even though it seems a little confusing. So I'm going to go ahead and cut to my my setup real quick, and then talk about some mics and some headphones, and then after that, that's pretty much the basics of everything, and we'll cut to that video now. Alright, what's up YouTube? So I'm back again just to show you my setup a little bit, and I just wanted to confirm everything that I have, and then just kind of show you how I have it all hooked up. So once again, it starts from my power strip. So you'd have an extension cord or a power strip, and it's going to come to your power strip. You have everything plugged in, of course, and then you're going to go to your laptop. You got your laptop here. I have my laptop plugged into my controller via USB here. Then I'm going to go out from my controller out, and I go to a 2-channel mixer. So this is one input here, and then I have another input here, which is going to come out monster cable into a tablet that I have, and that's what I'll do requests on. So I can just fade over and do requests, or I can just stay with my controller and my laptop, which is usually what I stay with most of the time. So then out from my mixer, I'm going to have the main master out. That's going to go over to my plate amp or my amplifier. So this is my amplifier on this type of setup. It's going to go into here, and then this is a powered sub as well. So not only do I have my sub, but I have my main in coming into my amplifier, and then my amplifier is going to go out to my cabinet speakers, or in this case my arrays. So then it's powering those. Now then also you would go out from this unit to another passive sub if possible, or you could go to this would also link to the other speaker that you'd have on this side, of course, so then you'd have two speakers, so your other cabinet or passive speaker. Like I said, up here I always have some duct tape, because when you're at a gig you're going to want to tape your cords down. So when you tape your cords down, that way you won't trip on them, or anybody might trip on them or kick them or knock them loose, and then you unplug something, and that's no good. So pretty much this is my setup that I use. Like I said, you can definitely get away with just using a laptop and a controller, and then you set up your crates and have the music that you're going to play for that night, and then you wouldn't need, you know, an extra mixer or anything like that. But that's just depending on how you're DJing, if you're not taking requests. If you're not taking requests, of course it's much easier, because you're just going to be using the music that you have and the knowledge that you have for what you need to play that night, and then you can easily get that done. And like I said, then you could just go from this to your amp, your speakers, and you're ready to go. Also, of course, I have a microphone here. You're going to need a microphone. Doesn't matter what you have. You know, maybe people might argue about that, but you know, I have other mics. I'm just showing you a display of having a mic and have it hooked in. Also, you could hook this microphone and you could hook it straight into your controller as well. Also, you're going to need a pair of headphones. Your headphones are going to, of course, plug into your controller as well. I would always plug your headphones into your controller. So you plug it into your controller, of course, because this is where you're going to do most of your work. If you had a side mixer on that, you could either bring another pair of headphones, or like you could easily just unplug this and plug it into your headphone jack on here, and that's why I have the adapter here. So I could do that, and you can do that on the fly really quickly. On this setup, I usually hook my mic into this unit instead of my actual controller. It's just easier for me, but you could also hook it into your controller as well. I think it's because I have my mic adjustment here that I use more than the mic adjustment on here on my controller. So, because I think on this controller, actually the mic adjustment, is in the back. So it's just easier to get to this one for volume than this one on the back of the controller. So personal opinion, but you could definitely do it on that as well. So that's my setup for this, for what I use. But like I said, there's tons of ways to set up. This is my go-to setup. Like I said, you could also have, you know, a mixer and a dedicated CDJs. You could have all kinds of different setups, but this is just the way I kind of do things. So that's that, guys. My next video, I might go into lights a little bit and let you know a little bit. Also, I'll probably, you know, show you some different microphones I have. There's different types you can get and that kind of stuff. I'm not a very good knowledgeable man on that, but I'll talk about it a little bit. Also, headphones are very important. You can get some cheap ones, or, you know, I also have some Sonys. But headphones are also important too, and we can kind of go over that a little bit too. So I'll go over some microphones, some headphones, and then we'll go over some light scenarios too. So there we go. And I'll let you guys go and we'll go over a quick overview.